Hello and welcome to Easy Like a Sunday Morn. I'm your host, Shane Lockwood, and this is episode 47. And I don't know how long this morning's show is going to go for, but what I've decided to do, and I've just put the phone down for a second, I'm recording this with my phone. I'm just going to cook some pasta, and when that's ready, I'll just put the heat to it, and when that's ready, I will finish the show. I have a cold. I've got a bit of a man flu. I've got this annoying app. I've got a Google Hangout of a group that I'm in, and they're conversing constantly, and it makes my phone vibrate, and I'm thinking of leaving that particular group because of it. Anyway, this is episode 47, and I hadn't prepared a whole lot of stuff, but it's been a while since I've done a proper episode. The last one was just a 15-minute update while I went to visit my friend Jeff at Fred's Van, which is a charity run by St. Vincent de Paul, and I'm going to see him again today. I'm going to have to leave that group because I can't do that. I'm recording. How professional is this? But anyway, yeah, I'm visiting him again today because it's been a month since I saw him last. And I mentioned last time that he has both, I think, prostate cancer and bowel cancer. So I just go to make sure he keeps his spirits up and stuff like that. When he first started taking chemo, it really knocked him around. And I think he doesn't have to do it all the time. But when you do chemo, it makes you very, very weak because it attacks every part of, not every part, but it tries to attack the unhealthy parts of your body, the cancer cells, and you've got to recover. So it's good to go and keep his spirits up, and also he looks after me very well. He knows that I suffer from depression sometimes, so he worries if I don't turn up. But I try and avoid those food places, the soup kitchens and stuff like that, where possible. And I'm proud to say I've been back there for like at least a month, so I'm doing okay in that respect. Please excuse any sniffles, snuffles, sneezes, coughs, or whatever in this podcast. I do have a very serious cold. I wouldn't say it was a flu just yet, but the coughs have just started this morning. Jeez, I'm going to have to get rid of that group, I think. Please bear with me. What I'm going to do, and they'll get upset because, hang on. And then they'll send me messages saying, "Why did you leave the group?" It's because you're talking constantly. For those of you that don't know, hang on, is this gonna... Okay, that's back to where I was. For those of you that don't know, I play a game called Ingress. It's Ingress. And it's a free download for your iPhone, Apple, Android machine, whatever you've got. iPad, your tablets, whatever. The game itself is like... It's a cross between... The actual gameplay is a lot like chess, but you physically have to move. How can I put this? You have these things that are called portals, and you have to defend them, and they're like physical locations on a map. And I'm lucky because I've got 2 portals that I can hack from my bed, which gives me a bit of an unfair advantage, but it doesn't matter. And the idea is that you can link these portals together. You walk around and you explore different things. It's very much like geocaching, but with you using your phone. And the point of it was, well, there's no real point, it's a game, right? But you get levels, you get points that you can translate into different levels, and you join groups. There's 2 teams, one's blue, one's green, and I was on the blue team, then I switched to the green team because the blue team were like pestering me, and I didn't have any phone credit, and they wanted you to go out and do this and do that, and they would nag you, and I'm thinking, it's just a game, but these people get obsessed with these things, and they go out and that becomes their entire life. So what I've tried to do instead is play a game called Fallout Shelter, and if you're familiar with the Fallout series, for the PC, basically Fallout is a game that's set in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, but it was based on the idea that in the 1950s, with the fear of the big bomb going off, and everybody was going to be nuked at any second, that the Americans had built these massive underground bunkers, these vaults, if you will. And the point of the game is that large sections of the populace had actually bought property or space in these vaults, and they were living under the ground, expecting the world to blow up, which of course didn't happen, thankfully, and it won't. If you understand the size of the planet, it's fairly impossible. But anyway, a couple of 100 years later, or 100 years later, the vault doors open up, and there's this wasteland, radioactive water, and whatnot. So you've got to patrol and try and survive in the wasteland. And you can be male or female. It's a role-playing game, but it's done through your computer. So you pick up a character, and they might have strengths and weaknesses and certain skills. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. But yeah, you can do all sorts of stuff. Oh, excuse me, that was rude. See, I apologise once again. I'm really, really sick. You may be able to hear it in my voice. Maybe not. But I thought I'd do a show just for you. What are we at? 9 minutes? And the pastas, I'm just stirring it at the moment. Not too bad. A while to go yet. Fallout. So there was a series of games on the PC, and they were isometric, which meant that you were looking down on your own character from a 45-degree angle. Very much like the Diablo series that came after. And so you have a few guns and things like that. Hang on, I'm going to pause it. Oh, back again. Just had to cough really badly. You're out in the wasteland, you've got guns, you've got ammo, you've got armour, and you're trying to survive and try and find fresh water and stuff like that. The first game was a bit of an adventure game. You had to not only survive, but solve a few puzzles and things like that. Then there was I think there was a second game, and then there was a Fallout Tactics, and Fallout 3 was bought out by a company called Bethesda, and they do all the Elder Scrolls games, amongst others, but that's what they're famous for. And Fallout 3 was a switch to a first-person shooter game, where you still did the same thing. You woke up from the vault and you went out and you tried to survive in this post-nuclear wasteland apocalypse thing, and you find people who had lived through the atomic waste, and they become ghouls. They're affected by radiation. They're called ghouls. Some of them turn feral. Some of them are just normal people, but they are horribly disfigured. And there was a spin-off called Fallout New Vegas, which I like, and that had downloadable content to it. But that was released through another company, and still had bugs and things in it, as in computer bugs, as in problems with the program. There are radioactive bugs and spiders and scorpions and all sorts of weird and wonderful things out in the wastes. But yeah, I enjoy it. I'm looking forward to Fallout 4, but I'm going to need to upgrade to a next generation console in order to do that, or win the lottery and upgrade my computer, which is very, very slow. It's turned off at the moment so that you don't hear background buzzing, although my fridge is running. Can you hear that? That's probably not the best, but that's what I have to put up with. And that with the computer fan noise and stuff. You can imagine trying to record a video with that going on. Yeah, so that's why I don't do a whole lot of videos all the time. Sorry, I was holding the phone and I couldn't pause it to cough. But yeah, let's see. So 15 minutes in. No, it's 13 minutes in. How's the pasta doing? Pasta's doing alright. Pasta is doing okay. You should see, if you're cooking along with me, that the pasta's still sort of like that yellowy colour. It's not quite white yet. I once had a conversation with somebody saying, like, pasta changes colour when, like when you cook it. And they swore black and blue that it didn't. It goes from like a, that orangey, not orange, sort of a yellowy colour, not yellow, like that golden colour, that raw pasta colour, uncooked golden colour, not exactly yellow like corn, but like a manila folder maybe, and it goes a pure white when it's done. That's how you know when pasta's ready. Some people like to cook it al dente, which is the Italian version. In Australia, we prefer it a little bit softer than al dente, so you just cook it a little bit longer. But with a touch of pasta sauce, it becomes delicious. Let's see, Fallout 4. They've announced that they will be releasing the modification kit. Hang on. The modification kit to Fallout 4, where you can create your own levels and things like that. That's some of the things that I've always wanted to do, especially since I think Morrowind, that was a Elder Scrolls game, which is a fantasy role-playing game set in a time with swords and dragons and all that sort of stuff. But it's their own sort of world, and they weren't very big on dragons. When they come to doing Skyrim, which is like the fourth Elder Scrolls game, they eventually brought back dragons for that. But this is slightly different. Fallout 4, it's guys running around with jeans and sunglasses and sneakers and stuff. Modern setting, but not really modern, I'd say like 1950s clothing, but set in like, 2200. Yes. But yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to it. There's massive graphics upgrade. The level of... You can actually make your own weapons and your own armor. It basically, in the games previous, you could collect all sorts of tin cans and things like that, and you had to have a certain amount of tin cans or whatever to produce a gun. You had to have specific ingredients. But what they've done is, with Fallout 4, they've made it a bit more universal, I think. So you can make pretty much anything out of anything, within reason, of course. I think there has to be some sort of logic to it all, but yeah. How's everybody been, actually? For those of you who are just listening to this in the background of your car, or maybe you're drawing a picture or something like that, whatever it is that you do in the background while you're listening to this, and I'll just give this a stir. It's nearly ready. Now the pasta is, let's see, slightly less yellow, or should I say more yellow. It's less of that browny, light brown colour and more towards the yellow shade at the moment. And the pasta I'm using is macaroni. These are like short, let's see, how big would they be? See, 2 centimeters long, which is what, 20 millimeters, which is just shy of an inch long, I think, 2.5 centimeters to an inch. I think that's what it is. Anyway, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. But like I said, it's either going to need a $500 purchase of the Xbox 500, which I don't have. The Xbox One. Xbox 500. Yeah, it would cost $500 for the Xbox One, or I could pay the same amount of money for the PlayStation 4. And of course, I've heard arguments for and against both systems, and there are people who they've got the money to upgrade their computers to the point where they say, well, why would I bother with a gaming console? Well, that's good enough for you. If you can afford that, that's fine. But for those of you, excuse me, those of us who can't yet, it becomes a bit of a different option. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm clearly not. I mean, I'm doing okay financially and things like that. I'll get paid again next week, and I'm seeing Jeff tonight. And yeah. Another thing that I wanted to talk about when I get a bit better, I think last time I did one of these, I was talking about a lot of the fake vegans on YouTube, or rather the people that they're vegan, right? They don't eat meat, they don't eat chicken, they don't eat fish, they don't eat any dairy products or eggs. Yeah, they don't eat eggs, etc., etc., but they are basically just being rather obnoxious. It's all about them and them, me, and it really doesn't do the vegan movement any good when there are people that are acting like cult leaders, and people that turn on each other and they attack these people, and if you don't, it's very, very crazy. Like, they're trying to say that fruit cures cancer and all this sort of stuff, which implies that eating meat is a cause of cancer, and there's no real concrete evidence in that sense there might be increased risk factors, which is largely down to people eating high-fat foods and just not exercising. You know, you've got to get out there and exercise. It sounds horrible, but you've got to do it. Even, for example, I've got a set of 5 kilogram weights. I think that's, I don't know what that is in the old measurement, but 5 kilograms, you can punch that into Google for a conversion, and I lift them every day. Now, it's not much, but it's enough to stop the muscles from atrophying, and you do need to get up and go out and go for a bit of a walk every now and again. Just change your perspective on things. Okay, now my pasta, let's see. No, it's not exactly white yet. It's halfway between sort of yellowy and white. But you keep giving it a stir if you're cooking pasta along with me. Just give it keep stirring it every so often. The stirring, all that does, and you might notice that by now a lot of the water is reduced. That's fine. You want to get rid of most of the water, but not all. Most of it, but not all. And that will reduce by itself. Just keep cooking. Just keep cooking. Let's see. The other thing is that vegans, fake vegans. There's the pity party. Oh, woe is me, I'm being attacked. But if you see behind the scenes, and in most cases fairly openly, they are attacking other people. They attack high-profile YouTubers in order to get notoriety. And look, and then they get you, the viewers and subscribers, to go over and attack other YouTubers. And that's cult-like mentality when people are trying to get you to influence other people, and it's just not on. Okay, now I can reduce the heat on the pasta now. You start off boiling at the beginning. I should have said at the beginning. You boil the water first, and you have the pasta in for a little bit. I'll read the instructions just so I make sure that's properly. Add 500 grams of pasta to 5 litres of boiling salted water. When cooked, drain well and serve. Cooks in 10 minutes. So it's been a bit longer than that. Have you ever noticed that the cooking instructions are never quite accurate? Actually, the pasta's just nearly white. It's passable for white. Oh dear, there's going to be a racist joke then. No, but we won't do that. We won't do that at all. There's no need for that. Jeez. I've had to pause it every now and again just to, well, take care of business. You know what I'm talking about when you've got a cold and you've got to take care of business. Coughing and spluttering and cleaning everything out. But my pasta's doing well. My pasta is doing well. And I've only paused it for a few split seconds, so it's not going to be completely inaccurate. Pasta's doing well. I hope you're doing well as well. Maybe you're cooking pasta along with me, I don't know. Maybe you're just drawing a piece of work, drawing a picture, or cleaning a fish tank, or doing the dishes, or something that, takes half an hour. That's what podcasts are also very good for. If you want to set yourself an exercise goal, like you're just going to ride an exercise bike for 30 minutes, put on a podcast. You don't need to listen to me exactly, but you know that when I'm finished, it's been 30 minutes. Now, my pasta has been cooking for quite a while actually. That's right. Now the water has reduced somewhat, quite a lot. Now what I can do is, normally what you do is you drain the pasta completely. Now I don't do that. I don't drain it completely. I always leave a little bit of water in the pasta. I'll turn the heat right off. And the reason I do that is so that when I mix the sauce, it's got something to mix with. Now, I mix the sauce. Now, this is a little bit different to most people. I mix the sauce with the pasta in the saucepan before I dish up. Other people, traditionally, you would drain the pasta completely, you dish it up, and then you pour the pasta sauce on top. But I like to stir it through the pasta because you want flavour on everything. Like, I've grown, how can I put this? I've grown an aversion to pasta without sauce on it. And it just tastes dry and bland and horrible. This has come from having years of having to eat nothing but 2-minute noodles and other things like that. So, oh dear. Let's see, 3 minutes to go. And I hope I'm not boring you too much. A lot of people like just listening to the sound of my voice. I am not an egotistical person to say, hey, look at me, aren't I fantastic? And I guess that's the key to success these days. Also, I used to think that the internet was a place where people would just share different opinions. But I've come to the conclusion that instead, it's a place where people get offended. Not just offended, I think people are intentionally posting offensive material and opinions and views and things like that, and then relying on other people to be offended. Now, when you're offended, what do? You talk about stuff. You spread stuff. You know, pick a celebrity. Any celebrity that the current media is talking about, you just write their name down. You don't need to tell me who it is. You just write their name down and ask yourself, do these people have media advisors? And that could be a politician, it could be somebody running for elected office. Do these people have a lot of money, and do they have... Oh, yep, the pastas should be white by now. Most of you would have taken it. I've taken it off the heat, but I'm going to mix some sauce in after I finish the podcast. I've got a couple of minutes left. You'll notice that they're saying offensive stuff, racist stuff, sexist stuff, and you think, are these people stupid? Why are they doing this? Surely there's somebody to pull them aside and say, oh look, yeah, maybe you shouldn't post this, maybe you shouldn't post that. But I wonder if it's part of the game. It's like wrestling, in the sense that you've got your good guys, you've got your bad guys, and I wonder if the internet, not just the internet, but the politics as well. I think it's fake in that sense of good guys, bad guys. You hate this guy, you love this guy. But the problem with politics is that real people's lives are involved, you know. So you can't want to exclude all of the Mexican immigrants in the United States, for example, because those people vote. You know, it's crazy to say stuff like that. But anyway, I've got to go. 30 seconds left on the clock. If you love this podcast, let me know. Please click on the various love hearts and thumbs up and whatever in the various sections. Please also follow, subscribe, click the plus button, click whatever, give it a thumbs up, let me know that you're here, leave a comment, etc., etc., and I will get back to you as soon as I can. That's all. Have a great weekend. Easy like a Sunday morning.